Hey folks, it's Laura with Raintree Nursery, and it's September of 2020, hence the masks. We are here at Fairhaven College, which is part of Western Washington University, with the garden coordinator and the permaculture coordinator of the Outback farm, which is an organic farm that has been part of Western Washington's campus for how long?
For almost as long as the campus for Fairhaven has been around, correct?
Yeah, I think since like 1970 something.
1970 something, right? So this has been pretty well. It's had ebbs and flows, right?
Correct. Yes.
You were saying something about it being more in an ebb right now.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So it was originally started by students that wanted to take back some land, and so they went out back behind the Fairhaven College. And so it's gone through many different waves of use throughout the years. There used to be actual farm animals here. It used to be a homestead long ago, hence the really old trees. And now, since there are actually paid positions for students and a 3-year-long position for a manager, it has been more of a involved entity on campus, especially with food justice, taking care of our fellow students and practicing permaculture.
And we'll show some pictures of how this place is sited, but there are college residences on either end of the farm itself. There's a parking lot on one side, which you can't see because of the hill, but I mean, this is right in the center of the college. It's so exciting to be able to see this kind of hands-on food production right in the thick of students. Now, you're the permaculture coordinator. Can you tell us a little bit about how you're integrating permaculture into the practices of this farm area?
Yeah, so we have a forest garden area on campus where we work to, produce perennial edible foods and create a much more self-sustaining system so that we can produce and distribute food to students here on campus.
And you also are inviting them to come and see how it's done so that they can take that learning to wherever they end up?
Well, I mean, in normal circumstances, yes. With the pandemic, we haven't been able to have as many people on the farm. This fall, we're hoping to have much smaller like RSVP work parties where people can come and get some hands-on experience. But like last year as well, we would have big work parties where lots of students would come and just get some experience growing food and seeing what it's really like.
And I think it's really interesting too, especially in the forest garden, to help folks understand that you can actually grow food in a forest, right? It's not a big flat plain where you're putting in row crops, right?
Absolutely, and I think that's something that's pretty special about this farm is it's not just a flat place to grow food. Because it is also a protected wetland and a permaculture farm, we have a lot of different mini ecosystems. We have the little creek with all the old trees, and we have the forest garden, and just a lot of different things going on in such a small space.
I'm so excited to see all these pieces. All right, shall we?
Yeah.
Awesome, let's go. So as we mentioned earlier, this building right back here, this is a residence hall. And how would you have liked to have looked out on a beautiful garden like this from your college campus, for those of you who are lucky enough to go? So tell us, what are we looking at here?
So this area of the farm is called the educational rows. We also call them the ed beds. So this is the place where we grow food for students. So any person that is a Western student can come through and pick their own food. So these actually aren't the ed beds. So they're over here. So any students can come to the farm and they can pick anything that they need to. This is where we practice a lot of food justice. So we have weekly food pop-ups for people that are food insecure here in Bellingham, which is a large portion of college students, which is why we prioritize it so heavily. So right now we're in the middle of cleaning up and editing our summer harvest. So we have things like lots of zucchinis are growing right now. Those are a great hit for people who are grilling, and they are also accessible to all people because you can just put them in the oven. You know, we have edible flowers. We had some cauliflower and some collard greens growing throughout the summer, kale. So this is basically where we grow the food for other students. So
I'm looking at this, and these beds are designated as seed saving, but what I'm also seeing here is just so many beautiful pollinators just getting in right next to the flowers of the squashes. I love seeing these alternating flower rows that are encouraging the insect population. This is so nice.
Yeah, our cover cropping is doing very well this summer. So our crimson clover is one of our most beautiful ones in my opinion. And we also do have a on-farm apiary. So we do have honeybees that go all over the farm.
Beautiful.
And help take care of our plants that way. So I don't know if these are our girls or if they're someone else's girls, but there are plenty all around and they are very much loved here.
Sharing with the students and sharing with the bugs in the neighborhood, right?
Exactly, yes, we love bugs here. But yeah, so this is our wonderful Edbed row and it goes down, I believe there's 26 long, I think, something like that. It's close to 30. And we just have rotating crops all year long. We help dig these up in the summer and plant brand new things. We've got some great lettuce greens going in. So it's just a constant project and a constant thing that we have to upkeep. It's something that's been impacted by COVID because usually our work parties help take care of them.
Right. Very nice. Wow. To be able to have this and just give it away. What a gift. Now, you said that there were some educational beds too?
These are the educational beds.
Ah, right.
Yes, there are community beds. Those
Right.
are
The community beds are this way,
Yes,
right?
yep,
Ooh,
there
let's
you
go
are.
see them.
Okay, yeah. That would be another very important part of the farm. And we actually can see them right here, very close. You can see a sign that says community plots. So these are areas that I oversee and we can give them to people that need their own land to grow food, which is something that is very important, food sovereignty, not just food justice. So these are owned by students, faculty, staff, and also community members.
Do people actually sign up in advance and get them allocated?
Yes, so there is a wait list and you get put on it, and then whenever plots become available, I go ahead and give them to people and they get the experience of turning them over, turning them into whatever they would like. And so people grow flowers, foods, perennials, and annuals. And they are in charge of taking care of them. They are not our business after they are given to other people unless they are encroaching upon other plots.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's a wonderful way for people to kind of get a piece of land if they, maybe live in an apartment.
Yes.
Things like that.
Yes.
Since or land access is such a big thing when it comes to taking care of yourself.
Absolutely. I'm hearing some chickens.
Yeah,
And I'm guessing that's for fertility too.
Yeah, so we try. Their bedding is a little bit difficult to break down, but I don't know. Do we use any of their poop?
No, not really.
We're
actually.
hoping to maybe figure it out somehow.
Yeah, we're in the process. We're gonna try and redo this coop actually because it's having some. It's starting to fall apart. There's been a few times where chickens have escaped, so that's probably a task for after we. Hopefully this fall.
Yeah, and
get
there's
the
always
coop
more to
redone.
do, right?
Yeah.
No
always.
garden is ever finished.
Never finished.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So our girls are in there right now. Do they need to be let out?
Are they not
I
out?
don't think they're out. So Jericho might go do that right now.
What?
I hear them all, but yeah. So they're in their coop. We have volunteers take care of them. So I put them to sleep last night specifically, and then our volunteers also get the free eggs. So it's a wonderful way to community members
Perfect. Yes.
to come in and take care of themselves and some chickens at the same time because animal therapy is a real thing.
Well, and there's also, because there's lots of people here, if somebody forgets to let them out or oversleeps or
Yep.
something, there's always somebody else coming in who
Yes.
can pick up the slack.
Yes, absolutely.
Again, the whole the idea of community is just really, it's not just a word, it's actually in play here. I love that.
Yes, very much in play. Yeah, so there's our girls.
There they are, out
So
and about.
Jericho's just gonna feed them, looks like. But yeah, if you wanted to move on and see more of the community beds, we can show them down here.
All right.
But yeah, so we have some really developed ones that have, some wire and such because it is a completely natural farm. So we do have pests. We have rats, but we also have an owl, a barred owl. He comes in the fall and comes and takes care of our rats for us. So it's a completely self-sustaining system.
Very nice.
But because of that, sometimes people do choose to protect their crops very heavily.
Sure.
And other people don't, but they
Well, and
always
it gives
do well.
them a sense of cause and effect.
Exactly. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So we have community gardeners that are doing really incredible things. So we have wonderful, wonderful greens. We have people growing just complete stalks of corn. There are beautiful flower archways. There's that archway over by the greenhouse was completely sweet peas.
Oh, nice.
So gorgeous. And we also have student organizations that have plots here. So specifically, I know of Students for Sustainable Food has their own plot, and so they help students learn how to grow their own food. We also have Out in Science, which is the LGBTQ plus science club on campus, and so they have a plot over there. It's always very well taken care of. I always like to highlight our student clubs. But yeah, so it would look like this when you first get a plot. Well, it would look like that after you broke it down. So
Right.
you get the process of kind of turning it into whatever you want and salvaging what you need.
We'll see, because I can see mint.
Yes.
Lots of mint there.
So much mint.
And
That was
so
left
that's a
over.
benefit, right? I clean up my
Yeah.
plot, I get to harvest some mint before I even plant anything.
Precisely,
Such
yes.
a treat.
Yes, this person got some mint bouquets before they, took the rest down because it was, I think, just some borage. Or no, not borage, comfrey. But yeah, so this is the wonderful area that I get to oversee. We have 64-ish plots available, and they'll come in all different kinds. So some of them are on the wetland side, so they're a little bit more shaded. They have to grow different things. And then these ones get the wonderful morning sun, as we're feeling right now. So
Yes.
they grow very different things.
That's nice.
Yeah, so.
All right. So maybe we can wander into the forest and see the forest.
Yeah, absolutely. The forest garden. It's right this way.
All right, let's go.
Okay, so here we are in the forest garden, which is the area where we plant perennial fruit trees, berry bushes, greens, different edible things, and work to reclaim the area. We kind of are in a constant battle with the invasive weeds taking over the area. So this bed that you can see right here is one I've been working on lately. I've almost finished the whole thing of taking out the weeds, planting cover crops like clover and vetch
Nice.
to help stop the weeds from returning, as well as planting other plants that are productive, like some sage that we propagated, some currants we had, other things like that.
They're beautiful herbs, and that's a gorgeous persimmon. Who's this with the red fruit down
That
here?
is a mountain ash.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's amazing. We've got a lot of different things growing here, lots of different fruit trees, apples, pears, plums. We've got blueberries, honeyberries, raspberries, grapes,
See, and
lots of different stuff.
It's so interesting to look at what just looks like trees, structural trees, like the forest here, and realize that they're actually food plants. This beautiful tree right here, that's an English walnut. And this right over here, there's apples, there's hazelnuts.
We've got plums back there.
Yeah,
We've
and
got
it just
quinces over there.
It looks like a forest, but I mean that's how it gets to be called a food forest. It functions like a forest because there's shade, it's not all open, but all of these high structure plants are things that are going to be useful to human beings. Wow, so cool.
We can walk down this way through. We have a lot of different areas here. This is another new bed that we recently reclaimed. It's starting to get a little overgrown again. Have to go in and weed.
But yeah, I see strawberries, I see beneficial pollinators.
Bunch of different herbs.
Yeah,
Got
there's
some berries, some sage.
nice.
A lot going on.
And a beautiful place to sit and contemplate and watch the patterns that unfold. It's gorgeous.
Yes, absolutely. It's
And there's
really
art
nice.
here. I can see these beautiful little pottery bells. And I love how you've used the cordwood to outline the beds so people know where to walk and where not
Yeah,
to walk. See, that's
totally.
gorgeous.
It can get overgrown quickly with the weeds, so we gotta have something.
And raspberries, oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
here's our raspberry patch. We've got a lot of raspberries and then a blueberry patch as well right here.
And that's perfect. Yeah,
this
because it's
is-
wet, right?
Yeah, this is sometimes a little different than what we would normally do in permaculture, where we would try and plant a lot of the different berries in different areas in case of pests. But yeah, this is our one area where we have a raspberry patch, blueberries.
Look at this
got
blueberry.
some quinces.
Look at this huge blueberry. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
it's a big one.
That is one happy plant.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
beautiful. And
And
oh, there's a medlar. Look at that.
Medlar, yeah. Lots of different stuff. And then if we just walk down this way a little, we have an apiary right here on the farm, which helps us to pollinate a lot of different plants that we have.
Nice.
Right over this way.
Beautiful. How close can we get to these bees?
That depends on how much of a risk you want to take. I would say this is probably good, but
Ah, look at that.
we have, I believe, 4 hives. We've had some issues with one of them. This one, actually, the bees left, so we've been trying to get a new queen, get that started again. But yeah, it's awesome to have them so close. This one has observation areas where you can look in and see, but I'm not sure if there's anyone in here right now. Yeah, it's empty, but these 3 are, yeah,
And
very
is this a water feature for the bees right there?
yeah, that's just a little bowl with crystals and water. It needs to be filled up actually, but yeah, something for them.
Wow. Busy as bees, right? Those girls look busy.
They don't stop, no.
Lovely. Wow. So beautiful and so productive. Now, what happens to the food that gets generated from this part of the farm?
It's pretty similar to what happens to the rest. We have a lot of students that come through here. I see lots of people coming and picking berries, apples, people harvest nettles, lots of different stuff. And otherwise, we will harvest it and distribute it. Last week at our pop-up was the first week that we got some fruit. We were able to pick a bunch of plums, give those to students. They're delicious, so yeah.
So really it can be a U-pick where people can come and watch as things get ripe and then harvest.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a farm for all of Western students, so we really encourage anyone to come and see it firsthand, get an experience, and yeah, pick the food themselves, because I mean, there's something special about just picking it yourself.
Isn't there? Yeah, that is so true. Yeah. All right, now we're going to go find something else to see. All right, so now Caitlin, you were telling me that this area right here is going to be a class?
Yeah, sort of. So we have a mycology class here at Western. It's taught by Dr. Abe Floyd. Lloyd, not, excuse me, sorry. He's super wonderful, super knowledgeable about so many plants, and so he is going to be helping some students go through and try to identify mushrooms. And so one thing that we're hoping to go ahead and bring into the forest for classes like that is going to be a mushroom garden. So down here in the forest garden, it's extremely shaded and nice and wet, and underneath a ton of huge trees we have all these logs. So there's actually this program on campus that has students try and research things and then try to implement them into campus. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but things that have come through it will be like our cob oven that's going to be being built in a memorial for a past coordinator who passed away, unfortunately. So, you know, there's really great things that are being brought onto the farm by students, because it's not just a couple of coordinators that work here, it's for the entire campus.
Yes.
So right now, we're hoping to propose to this group of students that they can research how we can have a really productive mushroom garden here on the farm. So we'll have a team of students helping us research what we need, materials, what we should grow, how we should harvest it, things like that. And so then we might be able to have a place for those kinds of classes to be able to come and identify mushrooms without, you know, having to drive 2 hours away to a large forest.
Right. And here you've got the freshly cut logs that you could inoculate with mushroom spawn. Well, you can also bring in wood chips and do flat mushroom inoculation beds, and having nice shade and regular moisture is perfect for that sort of. See, this is what's so great about the confluence of the money that comes with an educational organization, and the influx of labor that comes from, and interest and learning that comes from students. Because you have these beautiful areas that are just kind of lying fallow, just waiting for that spark to ignite into a learning experience, and also something that's going to make the land itself better and make food. I mean, gosh, it just doesn't get much better than that, right?
Yes, the students have made this place absolutely incredible. Like, especially the volunteers. We can't thank our volunteers enough, and we love seeing what the students do with the area and what knowledge that they bring to it.
Because it never really quite comes out the way you think it's going to.
Right.
It always becomes whatever it becomes.
Yes.
It's magic that way.
It's beautiful.
I love that.
Yes.
All right. What else can we see?
We can go take a look at the wetland area we've been trying to restore.
Yeah, wetland. Okay.
Let's do that. Look at this cute little creek.
Yeah, it might be little, but it plays a big role for us here at the farm.
Yeah?
Yeah, this is one more special thing about this farm is this is actually a delineated and protected wetland because of this little creek. And so because of that, the university has not been able to develop it and build dorms or anything like that. And so that's the primary reason that this farm has been around for so long and hasn't been developed so much. And so we do work out in this area, in the fence and outside in this zone to try and reclaim, to remove the invasives and replant natives, things like sedges and stuff that will really help preserve the ecosystem here.
And I bet the fact that you've got a nice natural source of water makes the relatively high water table for the rest of the farm, so you don't have to water as much because there's always water here, right?
Yeah, it definitely makes a difference in the zone, like in the areas where the creek goes. There's definitely some hills where we need to get to more, but it helps. And it also brings in some interesting things. Last summer we had some frogs that were living down in the creek, and so it's always nice to just see what can come of it.
Yeah, and this, I mean, we're in the middle of September. We're at the driest of the dry part of the year, and this is still running.
Yeah, and I mean, we see it go in and out. Like a couple weeks ago, it was definitely pretty dry, but it's pretty remarkable how consistently it's there.
Yeah, this is a wonderful tool if you're developing neighborhood areas that looking for places that are natural wetlands, and so you can't develop it. You could have a community garden there if you do your research right. This is just a beautiful lucky happenstance.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, what else can we see?
There's a hothouse that we can go check out.
Ooh, yes.
Different thing that helps with the season.
Let's do that.
Sweet.
You know, as we were walking through this garden, I saw this cute little hothouse and I thought, this is the shortest little greenhouse I have ever seen. And then I realized that there's something special going on here, isn't there? Yeah, show us this.
Okay, so this is our hothouse, and yes, it does look kind of small from the outside, but if we come around here, it's actually kind of a little surprise. And make sure to watch your step if you come visit. So it is in the ground, halfway.
Look at this. This is an earth-sheltered greenhouse.
So we can bring you in here. And I'll wiggle down here.
Look at this!
Yeah, so
wow!
Our operations coordinator, Alyssa, recently just trellised and trimmed everything, so it looks very nice in here right now. But yeah, this is our hothouse. So it is partly in the ground to help it keep it cooler in the summers and warmer in the winters. So this is where we put stuff that really doesn't like to get water on it. So tomatoes really don't like to get a ton of water on their fruit or their leaves, so we put them in here. And we also have some wonderful basil plants down at the end that were donated to us from Cascade Pets. Just as a little note, we adore our gardens, centers, and nurseries that help us with plant matter. Like, we couldn't do it without them. So thank you to any of them that might watch this, especially y'all. Apparently you donated some beautiful stuff to us. So
over the years, Raintree has donated to lots of wonderful projects like this. Yes,
and we cannot say thank you enough. They are always beautiful, and plant matter is obviously very important to us.
This is so great because these beds are essentially raised, but you're not having to add a lot of organic matter to get a bed that's higher up and easy to harvest from for folks who have mobility issues or, you know, getting a little sore in the back. This is just so perfect because it's right at harvest level. And then also, because we're earth sheltered, the cold air can pool down low. My ankles are probably 10 to 15 degrees cooler than what I'm experiencing up here. So you got the plants with the heat that they want, and that cold air has a place to go. This is just, it's just brilliant. And it doesn't take a lot of materials either, because you're not building walls. Basically, the earth is the wall. All you're actually building is the ceiling. It's just brilliant.
Yes.
Wow.
We like to make the most of what we have here.
Yeah. Resources used wisely.
And we did have a little bit of a late season, but our tomatoes are finally turning red. We are so excited.
Yeah.
And our tomatillos are coming through, and this is also a really great place for our daikon radish, so we can save their seed. So that way the seeds didn't get wet. You can see them kind of cascading over back here, but that's a project we've been working on, is getting our little seed pods, so we can save them for next year because these were delicious. So.
Absolutely, and you know that they're all daikon. They haven't been cross-pollinated by anything else, so it's going to be true seed.
Yep, they are completely just them.
Very smart.
Yeah, so this is our wonderful hothouse.
And we have one other thing to look at,
One other thing, herb garden.
All right. And here on the other side of the garden, we have the Fairhaven dormitories, and they look out on this beautiful herb garden. This is more of a classic garden, well-tended paths, clean beds, good edges, and a really beautifully pruned apple, an old russeted apple. Look at this. That is a thing of beauty. Wow. This has been here for a while, yeah?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how long, but I think it was probably an early addition, definitely.
Yeah. And it bumps right up against the forest, and the stream's right over there, so these soils are still nice and lush. I can see there's been some trees that are being caged against the deer, right?
Totally, yeah. And so this is a continuation of the wetland area where we're just trying to restore the habitat. And then, yeah, that goes out there, but here we have just a little herbal garden where we grow a bunch of different medicinal and edible herbs. There's different wildflowers things, and one of our work-study students who we bring onto the farm has really taken a leadership role here and done an awesome job kind of reclaiming the area, and so it's looking much better than it did a few months ago.
Well,
it's definitely a new one.
What a treat to be able to, you know, be done studying and come down and just kind of clear your head by enjoying the beauty of the garden and making yourself a cup of tea. Come look at this one. Look at this. This garden cracks me up.
Yeah, we'll see people coming in here picking lemon balm, mint, sage,
tea garden. Not a chair I want to sit in, but it sure is cute,
I would
right?
recommend it, yeah.
And this beautiful pineapple sage. Oh, yeah, there's just such bounty here.
Yeah.
Really beautiful. Well,
yeah,
thank you, both of you, so much for sharing all of the wonderful things that you're doing here, the time and the effort that you put into it. That love is just going to keep rolling on downhill, right?
Yeah.
And just get better and better. Yeah, thank you for joining us. I'm Laura with Raintree Nursery, and we'll see you next time.